very humbling to see the group assembled here today, as I realize sacrifices were made by each of you to be here. The Coast Guard for me started out as a job, and as time went on, it became a career. 28 years later, it's a way of life. It's been my way of life. I'm gonna start by thanking my wife and kids for sacrificing and keeping it all together when I was not there. I know it's tough not having your husband around during holidays and first day of schools and things of that nature. But if the situation was reversed, I don't know if I could have done it, Michelle, because I'm not. Because a couple times that you left to go to the teachers' conferences, I was like, whoa. How did she do it? Thank you, baby. Tim, Jasmine, Gabriel, Noel, couldn't be a prouder dad. Couldn't be prouder. I also want to thank my parents for my upbringing and the values that they instilled in me and my brothers and my sisters. My mom and dad worked really hard ensuring all our needs were met. And if you ask my mom what was her toughest challenge, she would probably say me. My dad agreed, I guess. Yeah. And with that, I want to take a minute and boast and introduce my parents and my brothers and sisters. My dad, Frank Ingram. I was a little worried yesterday. I don't know how your parents are, but my dad doesn't do anything until he knows what the weather's going to be. Doesn't do anything. First thing you do when you get up in the morning, turn the weather on. So like, old man with a storm coming in. You must have watched the weather yesterday. Thank you. My mom.
Yes.
My mom, Elsa Ingram. I just putting in words the type of mother that you've been to me it's hard to do. It really is. People often ask me why I work so hard and why am I so tough. I tell them, my mom and dad work too hard for me to fail. That's simply what I say. They work too hard for me to fail. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Thank you. My sister Angela. Angela's been a RN for probably going on 30 years now. And I think she turns 40 in a couple weeks. She's always looked young and always looked the same way forever because she does a very good job of taking care of herself and taking care of other people as well. So, thank you, Angela. My brother Felix, United States Marine. He's probably the most humble guy you ever meet. He's done 3 tours in Afghanistan. 3 tours with a recon unit. So he made he retired a few years ago, and you know, everybody has a family member that when you hear that they found God, you're like, whoa, I'm glad he did. Dr. Frankie, where's he?
He's what? It's the mile.
Oh. His brother.
Go on. While he's good now. He's a math professor at Winston-Salem State. And he's got his doctorate pretty quick. It was actually impressive. And we did all we could to support him along the way. So, again, I couldn't be proud of him. But I often ask myself, you had 3 sons before you named one after you? But you would be the doctor, right? here with me in spirit. He's a mailman, so, you know, I don't know what it is that the mail carriers can't get off work. They go. I don't know how they take vacation. But he's a mail carrier from Raleigh, North Carolina. All right, my baby sister, United States Navy. Charity is what I would say is the glue of the family, meaning she calls all of us. She calls all of us at least 2 or 3 times a week to make sure that we're okay and relays to all the other brothers and sisters that we're all okay. Thank you, Charity. Okay, this is gonna be a tough one. My grandparents.
Take your time, son.
Sam and Arthenia artists. They were all about family. Family meant everything to them. I just wish my grandmother could be here today. Yeah, I knew that was gonna be a tough one. I miss my grandparents. Let me do a quick walk through my career, my duty stations, and looking around the room as people came in, I noticed that there's somebody in here from each one of my duty stations, including boot camp. In 1987, Master Chief Gordy and I lined up together. He's trying to hide in the back. I think everybody in here pretty much knows it. When we got to Cape May, I know you just went to boot camp, know there are 2 lines: those who can and those who can't, meaning can't swim. And they leave within the can't line. So, but we made it, girl. It was 1987. And from there I went to the Cutter Home Beam. They used to call it Building 394 because we never got on the way. In fact, I think there's a couple home beams. I think Rich is back. He's home beam. So he decommed the home beam, right? He was part of the decom group. Yeah, UNCK. And from there I went to A school, and they gave me another forward tender out of A school. And I called a detailer because I couldn't believe they were sending me that far north. So I wasn't too happy about those orders. Again, I was from North Carolina and I only heard things about the state of Massachusetts. So I called a detailer. Are you sure you want to send me up there? And I asked him, and he remembered it. Captain Flans. I said, you know I'm black, right? He said, yeah, there's black people up there. He remembered that conversation. So that was my first unit as an FS. Captain Bruce was my division officer. He goes, I'm in charge of you, so let me know what I need to do. And that was a pretty good assignment for me. It turned out to be real good because I got to go down to Connecticut from time to time and see my Aunt Margie, who reminded me that she was still my aunt and I didn't eat everything on my plate. And from there, I went to stay on Taylor's Island. I was only there for a year, and that was my first independent duty unit. I worked for the D7 Global Badge, Master Chief Kitchen, and he helped me through my first motorcycle accident. He said, I'm not going to take you to Bass, that motorcycle already did. So after that was decommissioned, I headed west. I went out to Group San Francisco. That's when I first met Jake Smooth, SKC Bear Miller. SKC retired. I still remember the first thing he said to me. He said, hey brother, you got a Newport? And I found out the following day from his wife that he ain't supposed to be smoking.
the story. While we were out there, me and Tim DJ, and our business was short-lived because my wife literally pulled the plug. There was something about taking requests or something. But I love you, Tim.
That's pretty much how this story went. It was actually working. She came behind the DJ booth and unplugged everything. I was like, whoa, time to go. And another buddy from my San Francisco days is here too, my man Steve Smith. And I think we won three MLK championships together. But I think Mike Stevenson and his boys was watching the Detroit Pistons back then. They took on some of their ways. In fact, I remember asking Mike in one game. I said, "Hey man, you want to quit fouling me?" Yeah. I think we came in second that year. So after being on land for a little while, you get the itch to get back underway. So that's when I took orders to the Northland. That's why I worked for Chief Warrant Officer Ron Ray and FSC Brian Hunter. I was in charge of the galley and the paperwork on that. But Ron was a supply officer on board, and he was also our basketball coach. So you know what that meant? We had good uniforms. Yep, pretty good uniforms. I also met my buddy Kendall. Him and I were roommates during my tour on board there. We lived together for a few years. And met Victor Mars. He's the former Coast Guard lieutenant who now works for the Secret Service. And him and I, all we used to do when we pull in is just look for a place to play basketball. But the best experience of all during that assignment was meet my wife, Michelle. Remember Kendall and I going up to New York to meet her mom. You know I'm gonna tell the story.
I know you are.
Told her mother that I was in the Coast Guard. What do you think the first thing she said to me? Or Michelle, she didn't acknowledge me yet. Is he an officer? But we ended up getting along. So she had, I guess she had to check to see how my nerves were if I was gonna run. And I didn't. But thanks, Pat. From there, I got orders down to Charleston, down to Group Charleston off the Northland. And that was a pretty good assignment for me down there as well because Ian Phillips, one of my buddies that was on the ship, he exploded the ball as well. He got orders to the same duty station, and it was a pretty good support system down there, having Rodney and his family down there as well. And thinking I still had a little basketball left in me, I hooked up with Mark Harris, Tip Thompson, and a couple of the guys down there, and we played in a Navy league down there, which is how I spent most of my time down there. So I was looking at the message board while I was at work down at Charleston one day, and I saw a solicitation that needed an FS1 to pre-com the cutter Alex Haley in Kodiak, Alaska. I talked to my chief about it, and prior to taking those orders in 1999, I asked Michelle would she marry me, and she said yeah. So I said, okay, well, I guess I can go to Alaska, then I'm keep going by myself. So Alaska was surprisingly nice. It was a great assignment. In fact, one of my Alex Haley shipmates in here, Mike Dean and his family, and to see his kids and his niece, and see how much they've grown, it tells me how much time has passed. Caitlin in high school? Really? Wow. Well, I made chief up there, and they sent me back here to the base in Portsmouth, where I worked for Captain Gibson, Commander Lawrence, Captain Lawrence now, and Cecil Hurt. And after being on board here for a couple months, this base has a lot of TAD people that fluctuates through, and some of their needs weren't being met. Somehow, well, when I got initiated, they told me you could always go talk to the captain. He has an open door if you're chief. Well, I believed it, so I walked in his office. And I explained to him that a lot of junior members' needs weren't being met. And I think I took him by surprise. But a couple months later, he appointed me the base command chief here. And I've done that for a couple of years. That was turned out to be a rewarding tour. Yep. Can't tell you how many times I almost got fired or kicked out of his office, but we were able to make sure that the junior member needs were met, and that was CO's concern, which is most CO's concerns. Once again, after being on land a couple of years, get this to get back underway. So I volunteered. I can say volunteered now because I'm retired. But when you go home and tell your wife that you got a ship, you're like, guess where they're sending me? I don't know that you volunteered. So I got orders to the Gallows. I think you said that? No, you said the other guy. I got orders to the Gallows, the home port out of Charleston, where I work for Captain White, Commander Murray, C.W.O. Hinton. And because of the relationships that Michelle and I have made in the community, and having my Uncle John Ray and Barbara Ann around, and our great neighbors, Wayne, Monica Manley, Eric Hyman, and his wife, I mean, it's like we had our own community. So I felt comfortable doing the Geo Bachelor thing. And there's a couple of guys on board doing the Geo Bachelor thing as well, which was Carl. And Carl and I used to ride back and forth on the weekend. I can tell you now, but I volunteered to drive because you never back in your car. I'm going to get in your car. Carl, back in your car. But the Chiefs match on the Galveston was pretty strong. I know every Chiefs match out there think that they're the strongest match and they got it going on. But I'm here to tell you, the Galveston Chiefs did have it going on. Because the XO wouldn't come in the Chiefs mess. That's how you know you got a strong Chiefs mess. In fact, how many Chiefs do I have in here from the Gallows? Yeah. Had a good time with you guys. It was a great mess. In fact, I missed. So in 2008, Mr. Carpenter was gracious enough to bring me back to the Tidewater area, where I worked with Captain Donald Moore at the time. Later, when Captain Bruce came in, so okay, he's my boss again. But this time, he knew what to tell me to do. Yep. And Master Chief Stage was my team lead. In the assessment world, you're not really qualified until the Master Chief gets on the road with you, or to ensure that you know what you're talking about, you pass me the correct information. I think he got on the road with me once. He said, "Oh, you're good." And I also worked for Master Chief O'Neill on that assignment. And Master Chief O'Neill is the third female Master Chief in the FS rating. And Lisa's spot, we just spoke, was the second. So we got some history in the room. Yep, that assignment came with some rigorous practice, and but it was rewarding. Because I had an opportunity to be an advocate for the rate. I could actually bring back people's concerns and needs. And I wouldn't stop until their needs were met. Wouldn't stop until their needs were met. 2012, Coast Guard Cutter Headquarters. I remember walking in the office and I said, "This ain't NOC, is it ever?" He said, "No, it's not." Yeah. But
Wish it was a cutter, we could sail away.
But let me just say, Coast Guard Headquarters is not the reason that I decided to retire. In fact, I love my job up there. Yeah. I haven't shared with anyone, not even my wife, why I decided to retire. The move in 2012 was a little tough on my family. We hadn't moved since 2002. The family hadn't moved. I moved, just different assignments. And when we first got to Fredericksburg, my daughter wanted to go home. I was like, "We are home, baby. We moved." She said, "We're not home." So a couple of years ago, or a few years back, I probably could have taken it a little bit better. But I guess as you get older and reflect back on things, you decide that sometimes family is more important than you know. So I thought about it on the way to work because Noelle said, "Daddy, are we gonna have to move again?" I said, "No." And she said, said, "You promise?" I said, "Yeah, babe, I promise." And mind you, she's crying while she's talking to me. So I think I cried all the way to work that day. Yep. And not only that, it was, I think I've had a good run. I was at the top of my game, and I don't want to be that guy just sitting in the corner that everybody's waiting to retire. So I think I'm leaving on a good note, and now I will have the time to spend with my family and make sure they need it. All right, I know we're ready to eat. And food is being prepared today by Chief Tamika Hagan. She's she works for Secretary Napolitano with the Office of Homeland Security. And we also have Senior Chief Swenson in the back. He never likes to be out front. Senior Chief Swenson is the commandant's aide. He assigns all the cooks to that course. So I'm anxious to see what they got prepared for us today. I'm sure it's going to be impressive. In closing, I want to publicly thank each and every one of you out there. Because without your love, your friendship, and support, I wouldn't be here. Wouldn't be here. A lot of people don't make it because of support and love. So I know I could go around the room and say something about each and every one of you in here and how you had an impact on my life. But it's just not enough time. So again, I just want everybody to know that I love and cherish all of your friendships.